What's up? This is Ruben from TGE, and I want to talk to you about two trade breakdowns. How we took him, how we thought about it, how we use our daily levels, support and resistance, how we analyze volume. This way you can do the same thing, okay? And so there's two trades that we took that I want to break down, which is Tesla. We took two trades on Tesla. They were both winners. And then we took a trade on Google, which two trades on Google. The first one was a loser, and then the second one was a winner. And we did take an MSTR trade, but that was kind of like a break even. It's just like 10% loss, so it wasn't too bad. Okay, let's get started. Let's start with how do you set this up? Like how do you get this going, right? Okay. So first thing is first. Everything that we do, our trades are always based off of whatever Gextron is telling us. Gextron is the tool that tells us these are the major support and resistance levels. Okay, pay attention to them. And what we do then is that we mark the levels. Like what? So the question is like, what do we look at when you're looking at this chart? What should you look at? And it's really simple actually. What you want to look for here first is like, are we call dominated or put dominated? It's like the basic one. Like, okay, Tesla's very call dominated. It's very, very bullish. Great. So I should have my thesis is already going to start as a bullish sentiment, right? Okay, next, where are the tall bars? It's just that simple with Gextron. Where are the tall bars? Okay, 330, 325, 320, 350. Perfect. And so what I do is I get those strike levels and I mark them in my chart. Let's look at Tesla real quick. I'm going to take a look at the hour time frame. I mark them. You can see it right here, right? 350, 340, 325, 320. Okay. At some point, I think 312.5 was one. I don't know if that's still one. It's not anymore. This is a little one, but not. It was a little bit bigger. Okay. Now I have those levels. Now we can play. Okay. Now we can create a trade setup because our objective, at least what I teach everybody inside TGE Max, is like we're just trading level to level. Keep the trades very simple. Don't get greedy. Set for realistic price targets and just take your money, right? Find another setup. There's always setups for another day or different ticker, whatever, right? So all we're trying to do is play level to level. From A, you see here I have them labeled as AOIs. AOI stands for areas of interest. This is another way of saying tall bars. Whether they're positive or negative bars, just look for tall bars because those are the things that you're going to play level to level. So in the case of Tesla, when it started to break up, let me show you the first trade. Here we took Tesla. So we took a Tesla call here for 330 weekly call. And I'll explain why I chose 330. Okay, so you can do the same thing. So we took it and we sold around 41%. Okay, so this was the trade idea. We know that Tesla is bullish overall, right? Like if we just zoom out a little bit, it's just really, really bullish. It's just, it explodes, it consolidates, and then it explodes again. Great, let's take advantage of that momentum. Okay, so here we know that price closed on Monday below 320. So anything is possible at open. It can touch 320 and then it can reject. Okay. And so what we did here is the other thing to pay attention to is that there's a little bit of high volume here. Okay, right there. Just a little bit of high volume. A little bit more than the ordinary. And then this morning, it was an early trade. We noticed that price did this. Because we were looking also at the 5-minute time frame. Price dipped. We didn't buy at this candlestick. I think I announced it at 947. 947. So it was somewhere around this area right here. Okay, around this zone right here. So 947 Eastern time in the morning, price actually dipped and then it bounced. So I saw that and I liked that. And then I was watching the next 5 minute candlestick and it started to reject because I'm waiting. I'm trying to see if price action is going to reject this 320 area. Very, very important, especially when I'm looking at the 5 minute. I don't want to take it right away because I want to make sure that price is looking good. I want to see if we can hold this area. So price fell back to the open entry right here because I always have entries. And so the previous high candlestick, high volume candlestick was my entry. So 318.75. Then I saw price trying to get above the entry. I said perfect. And also you can see volume is high volume, right? So I announced on the Telegram chat, I said we're gonna get 330 calls for the week, and we're gonna take it up. Okay, we'll see what happens. So at this point, we're in the call, and what I like about it so far is that it's going up, right? But not just going up. Okay, look at this. Volume is strong. This is an indicator that this is probably the only indicator that we like to use, the only lagging indicator. Okay, we're looking to make sure that volume is supporting the move up, because then that gives us conviction and confidence that the trade is bullish, right? Buyers are stepping in and they're going to push it up. Okay, so at this point, it's pretty obvious that buyers are in control. The only thing that I was a little bit skeptical was this area right here because it was a high rejection volume candlestick, right? But besides that, I said, great, we can take it up, right? And now, as long as price can sit above 320, we can aim for the next area of interest, the next tall bar, which is 325. And then I believe at 10:02, I announced that we're closing the position. Okay, this was about a 30%, a 40% return. Okay, at 10:42. So price hit this zone, and that's when I said, let's get out. I'm closing my position. And it was perfect too, because you could see here, if we just look at the 30-minute time frame, you can see here that price got rejected right at this area of interest. This is really important. Okay, great. So what's next? Price started to fall down. That was trade number 1 for Tesla. Then later in the day, we took another trade for Tesla. This was way before like 12 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so price went down. I saw this, and what I saw about this is that it recovered so fast at one point. It might have been the 15-minute time frame when I saw this. It was this candlestick right here. This candlestick, which was the 11 o'clock candlestick. This sudden move and bounce and also rise in volume gave me confidence that buyers are going to be stepping in. This is going to be a strong area. So I waited a little bit longer to see if price can hold this 320. You can see here that it's hovering, right? We got in around this area right here when we got in the second Tesla call. Okay, and what happened was that we were just waiting. Now the stop loss was really simple. It's like if it gets below the 318, the previous low right here, right? Below this this candlestick low, then we could just get out. We'll just say it got invalidated and we leave, right? Small loss. But if it can hold this 320, then we aim for the area of interest, the next area of interest, which above it was 325 again, and also this zone right here, okay? And so we actually ended up, now, what's really important to know is this WEM line. WEM stands for weekly expected move. When the market opens first thing in the morning on my top tickers, I want to see like what's the expected move for the week. Okay, and Dextron, which is the tool that we use, it tells us the forecasted move by a given date. So we're not guessing what is possible. We're trying to figure out what's a realistic price target by a specific date. And so all we do is we open up this calendar, and you'll see here it's grouped by months. And inside the months, you'll see the available expirations, and you'll see columns like the date, days to expiration, so 3 days left, 10 days, and then EM. EM stands for expected move. I grab this number and I add it to the top and to the bottom of the spot price, and that's my expected move. And so first thing in the morning on Monday, let me put myself here again. I put this number 329.42 is the expected top. Now it doesn't mean it can't go higher and it can't go lower than the weekly range. It's just giving you a 70% hit rate of what's possible. Okay, and so when I'm grabbing a contract, I want to make sure I grab a contract that's going to have a possibility to get in the money. In this case, we got 330, and then sometimes we get to get a couple weeks out, a couple months out, but that is one of those strikes that can get out of the money into the money. Okay, and so that's why we chose the 330 calls twice. Okay, so that's how we pick strikes. Okay, and so with that said, the other thing that we were noticing here on the second trade, we had a high volume candlestick here, is that even though price was starting to go down just a little bit, volume was going down. So this was telling us, okay, sellers are getting exhausted. They're getting exhausted. And if this does go to the upside, we want to see volume start picking up. And that's exactly what it started doing. It started favoring our trade. And as it was rising, you can see prices starting to rise. And we sold all the way around this area. We hit 325 again, because again, our objective is to play level to level. That's it. Don't get too greedy. Just play level to level, especially if you have weeklies. Okay, if you have weeklies or days to like short-term expiration dates, you need to get rid of them as quickly as possible, especially if you have out of the money, because they're risky. Take your money and find another setup. Okay, now with that being said, we did not catch this move all the way to here, nor to the 335 area. that's happening right now. Okay, but that's okay, because all I need to do is just wait for another setup, right? Either we snap back to the weekly expected move, and then we take it for a higher move, or we wait for it to hit the 325 and then take it for the next area of interest, right? That's it. That's how we're going to play this trades. And we're going to be using volume to verify the move, right? We want to make sure that volume is increasing on the reaction levels, on the zones that we deem, or not we, that Gextron deems to be important. Okay, and then also we were also looking at a bunch of unusual option orders, and it was very, very bullish. Like there's calls. All of this is just calls, right? So this also gave us a high conviction, and so that's it. That's how we traded Tesla, and we nailed like 2 trades, 40%. What is that? 80% return total, and that was it. Let me break down Google real quick. Google was a good trade too, because it was a loss first, and then it was a winner. I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, Google. Google was a trade that started to break down. Okay, why didn't I mark the P-trans level? I know I saw it. Let's take a look at Google. Okay, Google was 357.5. Okay. Typically, I mark these levels. 157.5. And this was P-trans. So P-trans is the start of a transition. Okay. And so we marked the levels. I guess I forgot to mark the P-trans level. And what I saw here first was like, okay, we're breaking down with volume, right? You see like the heavy bearish candlestick. We got decent volume. We shorted this first, and it was a failure, and we cut it off at 15% because of this candlestick right here. I believe it was the 15-minute candlestick that we were looking at, because this was an early trade. I saw high volume here, which was bearish, wasn't good for us for our puts. But then I saw this candlestick, and I saw high volume here too, and this was a bullish candlestick, right? What this candlestick is telling us is like buyers are holding this price tight. And then when I saw the second price right here, the second candlestick go above P-trans level, that was like, okay, more than likely the demand's going to take over the sellers. Okay, the buyers are going to take over the sellers, and we may go higher. So we ended up around this zone. We sold. I ended up telling the team that we're going to cut it off and we're going to switch to calls actually. And we actually got into calls here, and we sold around this zone right here. Okay, somewhere around this area, and this was about 30% return. Now the trade was super simple. I didn't have any other levels here that was clear. I only used like the previous day high to kind of be my target area. Okay, this one was kind of quick. I didn't do the best job to like mark my levels here, especially because I was trying to do this on the fly. And I'm also trading on Public, and Public is probably the worst platform to trade on. And but this alone just made up for the loss, and it made me a little bit of extra cash from the first Google loss. But that was it. The main thing about this trade was that we reclaimed P-trans, right? And as long as you reclaim P-trans, this can actually go all the way to 165. That's what I saw, and that's what I liked. Did I mark 165? I did mark 165. Okay, so that was it. Like, it's very possible that that price can go to 165, right? We just want to play level to level. So if it goes around this area right here, this P-trans level, you want to take it for 165. That's the main target right there. But you might need some time for this. You might need a couple of weeks out or a month out or two. Okay. And so that was a trade for Google. It was very, very easy actually. And that's how you switch pretty quickly. So that way you're not caught holding the bag. I guess the main thing that you want to get out of these videos is like set your levels, right? Set your levels, know realistic price targets, and then also just be reactive, right? If it doesn't work out, that's okay. You can always just switch. Just change your position or update it. You could turn a regular directional into a strangle or into a straddle. There's so many ways to convert it, to make it work. Okay. And so just be reactive and make sure you size in small. That way you have many opportunities to take. All right. Well, that's the video for today, and I hope you found it helpful. If you want to try out Gextron, or if you want to trade with us inside TG Maxx and inside the Telegram channel, I'll put a couple links in the description box. And if you want to try Gextron, it's a 7-day free trial. It's risk-free, so if you want to try it out to mark your daily levels, to give you expected forecast moves so you know what realistic price targets are, 7-day free trial. I'll put in the link below. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll come back to you. All right, peace out.